I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. You guys have been sleeping on this Hack 5 BashBunny. Now, I posted the thumbnail to this video earlier saying that I might have just created the biggest payload for the Hack 5 BashBunny. And I actually think it's true. So, without further ado, I'm going to show you a little more about it. So before I show you guys what this thing can do, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. I named this payload Harvest-Szn because it will literally harvest pretty much all the information you would want to know from the device you plug it into. Now, with that being said, only do this on your own equipment or equipment you have explicit permission to do so, and don't be a skid. I've said in the past, I only made payloads that I would actually use myself out in the field. Now, this is going to be more of a recon type. For the most part, it's going to be more recon, a little bit of exfil, but the public release version, which is this one, is going to be mainly focused on the basic recon, because I don't want to put something out in the public to where people who don't know what they're doing with it can get themselves into a lot of trouble or damage other people's equipment, which will also get them in a lot of trouble. So with that being said, I will show you what this version of the payload will do. And I'm going to scroll down and it'll gather things like system information, which will be your computer name, your operating system details, the Windows build information, and a couple other things. Why this is handy is because if there's a certain patch of an OS that's not exactly fixed and there's something to break it, you'll be able to do your research and figure out how to get there. You got networking enumeration, which will be, your basic default gateways, the DNS configuration, the IP, and so on and so forth. Simple stuff. Then we're going to move down to user and group discovery, which will show all the local users on the computer. It'll show you what groups that they're a part of, if they're part of administrator, if they're part of guest, if they're standard users. It'll give you system activity, which will show you what the running processes and the running services. And it will also give you the recently installed software. Now, why is that important? It's important because if someone installs an old version or an unsupported version of a piece of software, yeah, you're catching on. Do your research. You might be able to do something with that. It'll show you remote access artifacts, and it has logging and error handling. But the rest of it you can read on your own time. It's basically the same as all my other readmes. It basically says only use this on your own stuff. But the payload.txt is just my classic disable some things, run your PowerShell script, and re-enable some things. So just like the last payload I posted, this is where the meat and potatoes are. Now, there is a lot I put into this thing. I spent a lot of time on this, so I hope you guys really like it. Enough of me blabbling. Now it's time for me to show you what this does. Now, to show you the full effect of it, I am going to do a couple preliminary steps, which will be copying to add this to my clipboard. Oh yeah, this thing also will show you the last thing, or their clipboard data. So I'm going to copy this to put this into my clipboard, but it also will show you the PowerShell commands. The last 50, I believe I had it said. So I'm just going to do a little echo and paste it in there. And it says, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to Hackazillarex on YouTube and TikTok. I'm going to go ahead and run that. Whoops. I don't know why I tried to cancel that. But anyway, I am going to put this into switch 1. And I will plug it in. And then it's going to take a few seconds for this to boot up, just as always. But with patience, this payload will typically run between 20 and 30 seconds. Well, it's going to run for at least 30 seconds, I think, because it's got a lot of information it's going to gather up. I can probably speed this up. I haven't tested this on faster speeds yet, but I will. I just want to get this version figured out, and I will tweak it as time goes by. And of course, if you want to do some pull requests, I will review the pull request, and if it works, I will add it to this payload. So it's going to take a little bit of time to do its thing. But yeah, I'm super excited for this payload. Yeah, it's finishing up right now. It's re-enabling the stuff that it disabled earlier, and in just a couple more seconds we are done, because as you know, if it's green, it's a hacked machine. All right, now it's time to show you guys the loot that I got. I am holding my phone right now so I can get in really quick. It made a folder called Harvest-Szn, and here are the 4 text files that it showed up with, and I will show you this one here in a second. The one that's labeled loot will have all the information. Now, I already opened this up earlier to censor out any sensitive information, so I'm going to show you what all it showed. So here's the system data that I was telling you about. And I'll go through this slow, and feel free to pause this and take a look at what all it does. Here's your local users. Here's the local groups. And if they have members in them, they will list them. Here's Wi-Fi and network information. And if it says censored for YouTube, that is because I took it out and replaced it with censored for YouTube. It also shows open Wi-Fi's that's been connected to. Here is the clipboard information that I did earlier. It says, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to Hackazillarex on YouTube and TikTok. And here are the environment variables. And if you know what you're looking for, this can be very helpful. Here's your browser login data. It did not find any on Chrome because I don't have Chrome on that computer, but it says right here, Microsoft Edge login data found. And I will show you that folder here in a second. Now here's Windows Credentials Manager stuff. There's been no RDP connection history lately. And here is the processes. Here's the services. Here's the recently installed software in the last 30 days. Here's the PowerShell history. It will give you the last 50 commands. Let's see if we can find it. Here it is. Here's our echo that we just did. Echo, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to Hackazillarex on YouTube and TikTok. And here at the bottom, it tells you that everything was completed successfully. Now let's find out what's inside this Microsoft Edge folder. Now, to be able to do anything with this file, you will need separate software to decrypt, decode, whatever word you want to use. But that's not important right now. I'm going to open up this file, which is the database file. And you can see here, I did a test one. This isn't my real sign-in for Home Depot, but here's the Home Depot sign-in. Here's the username I used, testing@yahoo.com. And ironically, if you go to Home Depot and sign in as testing@yahoo.com, it's an actual account. I don't know why, because testing@yahoo.com isn't a real account, but this is a real account at Home Depot. Let's go through. If there was anything in plain text, it would be written out here. And here we will find more. And then the testing value, or the password value, is the blob, which is over here. But I thought that was pretty cool. There's more stuff you can look through on that, but as far as the payload goes, I'm actually pretty excited for how this one showed up. It is on my GitHub page, by the way. It is under Hackazillarex BashBunny payloads, and it's in harvest season. I currently have 2 payloads in here that are public. Of course, I had to do some modifications on this one to make it public because, as I said earlier, in the wrong hands of someone who doesn't know what they're doing, they can get themselves into a lot of trouble, and I am not about that life. I don't want to put other people in trouble, and I don't want people getting in trouble. Oh, I got that file open, that's why I did that. But as I said, do not sleep on the Hack5 BashBunny. And as I always say, I hope you liked this video. If you do, please give me a like. If you're new here, I hope you subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.